It says sending data. Good morning. Hopefully I am live. I'm not going to check it this time. Thomas Dimitrovich here, and it is Thursday, technical Thursday. It is May 20th, and today at 5 o'clock p.m., I'm going to have a really great guest, a great guest, say that 300 times real fast, Michael King. Michael and I will be talking about arc flash calculations and theory. So the incident energy, the arc flash calculation, is an important aspect of power systems analysis. The power systems engineer is going to be focused on calculating incident energy for a few reasons. One main reason is for protection of the electrical worker. Another ancillary reasons that you need to perform incident energy analysis calculations is to understand the magnitude of damage that a piece of equipment may incur should an event occur in that assembly. And there might be reasons, there's areas that you need to think about on why you would want to know the amount of damage that may be incurred. If you have safety related equipment, if you have equipment related to the production in a facility that you don't want to go down, if you have a problem from a reliability perspective, if you have a piece of equipment that has a very high incident energy, it is going to fill that room. It's going to take out that room. You got to look at everything else in that room. I worked at Crystal River Unit 3, which was a nuclear facility back in the 90s, early 90s. And, we thought about things like that. You had to think about not just what could happen on one circuit, but how does that one circuit impact the performance of other systems in my facility? So when reliability is important to you as a customer, as a production, as a manufacturing facility, if you know that maybe it's a financial risk that you might have, it could be a personnel risk that you might have. Understanding the impact of an arc flash event on other equipment around you or around it could be an important aspect of your discussion. So, or your decisions regarding what you do and how you construct your facility, or the steps and procedures that you take to put in place for the what if scenarios. So today we are going to take a look at the arc flash calculation for continuing our discussion. We are in the midst, coming towards the end of Electrical Safety Month. We can't forget, May is all about electrical safety, but it's not that we only think about electrical safety in May. This is a time when we should be communicating a lot about electrical safety within our organizations, with each other, and then we are instilling principles and practices that we will use later on throughout the existence of your involvement in whatever it is electrical. So great. Today's going to be a packed day because we've got the Wisconsin chapter going on. And those guys, I don't have to do a doggone thing, which is really good. I'm basically watching, and I'm there to help if anybody needs me for whatever reason. But they don't need me. So Steve Froming and Mr. Neitzel are doing an awesome job. They had a great code panel meeting, Q&A session yesterday. Which was really intriguing. There's some really good questions that were answered live. They also had some really good presentations on hazardous locations and all kinds of stuff. It was just a really good day, an educational day. Got a lot of stuff done. And we did go live yesterday morning, just to let everybody know a little bit, a little teaser. And I had a mic issue, which now I'm watching. I've only had that twice so far in about a year and a half. So today is all about arc flash. We're going to be talking about theory. We will talk about IEEE 1584. Get your questions in. Send them to me at thomasadimitrovich@eaton.com. Send me or if it's on LinkedIn, just, on this respond with a question on this video, whether it be YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. I'm going to take a look at that. If you have questions about arc flash calculations, now's the time to get them on the table. So Mr. King and I are going to talk about those at 5:00 p.m. Eastern today, live. And we're going to beat that whole topic up of arc flash calculations. So beat us up. Ask us some questions. Make me do some homework, please. So that's today. And one of the things that we are going to talk about, IEEE 1584 2018 versus the 2002. If you think about the lineup that we had, hey, Tamaki, good morning. You think about, Tamaki, the lineup that we did this week, or over the last few weeks. We had personal protective equipment discussion, right? We had a PPE discussion, and that's what we are going to talk about today is something that we should be doing to help our electrical workers dress for success. James Smith in the house. I'm counting on you, brother. I'm counting on you. I keep forgetting if it's Kickstart or Push It in Gear or whatever that's called. I don't know if it's Pop the Clutch or whatever it is, but I'm counting on you to get us started. So we talked about personal protective equipment, and we talked about the calories and what it will and will not do, right? With with our guys at Tyndale. Santiago, good morning. Good morning. So we talked about personal protective equipment. We had a great discussion on Tuesday, if you recall, with Russ Seyfried. Pop the clutch. We had a great discussion with Russ Seyfried about getting outside of the arc flash boundary. And right in the beginning of that session, we talked about the importance of understanding what is the arc flash boundary. Well, today we're going to get into more details about incident energy calculations, the theory. We're going to talk about the arc flash boundary, the parameters that go in, and what parameters impact arcing currents, what parameters impact incident energy. How do I determine what those parameters are, like the size of the enclosures, the configuration of the bus? What are some of the basic assumptions that we need to make as engineers to make sure that the electrical worker is dressed for the occasion? And you don't want to put a sport coat and a tie and a nice clean white shirt on when you're walking into a beach party. Okay, and you don't want to be in your flip flops and your Tommy Bahama shirt when you're going to a black tie event. Okay, so you got to understand. In my opinion, we should try to limit the number of non-labeled environments that our customers, electrical engineers, electrical workers, and others have to experience. Voltage fault current, conductor gaps, working distance, enclosure size, all of that, all of those changes. And Michael King, you're absolutely right. It's really critical to understand all of these different parameters. And then what's the impact? Okay, so I've heard people say, well, my goodness, the 2018 IEEE 1584 and versus the 2002 1584, all of the incident energy values went up for the 2018, and this is crazy. There's a lot of misinformation, and we're going to dispel all of that. We'll give you some examples, and I want to share with you what my thoughts are with regard to the benefits of the new calculations, the new equations. And I know Michael and I are going to have that debate and discussion on how do we come up with meeting some of the new parameters that we need. I mean, think about this. I mean, there's more information that we need today when we calculate incident energy than we did in the 2002 version of IEEE 1584. Right, wrong, or good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, we're going to talk about that today at 5 o'clock. I'm excited about Michael and getting into that discussion because I think there's a lot that engineers have to just don't think about, And then the question is, do I have to use the 2018 version? Can I still use the 2002? If I do go to the 2018, what are the issues I need to think about? So I can't wait to dig into IEEE 1584. If you don't even know what IEEE 1584 is, I'm not going to tell you what it is now, because you got to come back at 5 o'clock when Michael and I are going to dig through that document. We'll dig through this document. We're going to dig through this document, and we're going to be talking about the National Electrical Code 70E, 1584, your short circuit studies, your are you going to discuss the differences with the NFPA 130 tables that are suggestion versus 1584? Oh, so I believe what you're talking about is the table method that's in here, and the difference between the table method. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that it's important for us to understand now as engineers, you know, so there are limitations to NFPA 70E table method that we're going to talk about. I want to talk about possibly a new table method. Okay, so Mike, you're right. We're going to need 3+ hours. I don't know what we're going to need, or you know what we're going to need. We're going to need a lot of coffee because we're going to need to talk real fast. Okay. So get your coffee. Make sure you've got a full pot of coffee for our discussion at 5 o'clock. We are going to go like that. It's not going to be a slow pace. It's going to be fast paced because Michael knows what he's talking about. I think I know what I'm talking about sometimes, but your questions are coming in, and hopefully we're going to just basically dump everything that we know in as short amount of time as we can, so that you get a flavor for what it means to do an arc flash calculation. What are the things we need to think about behind our calculations? What are some of the assumptions? What are the documented assumptions you need to provide to your customer if you're doing an arc flash calculation? And do I only need 1584? What about the single line diagram? What about the fault current calculations? What about this concept of minimum and maximum fault currents? How do I determine those? Simple versus complex systems. We're going to talk about it all today, and I can't wait. And I think that this is going to round out this discussion, because I could argue that I did very poor planning. I could argue with myself that I did very, very poor planning, and I think I would win the argument. I'm just saying. So if I was arguing with myself, I would say, look, Tom, you should have done the arc flash calculations first. Actually, I should have done, which I started, the one line diagram, the fault current calculations, the selective coordination discussion, the arc flash calculation discussion, and then personal protective equipment discussion, and then getting outside the arc flash boundary. Okay, if I had my druthers and if I was arguing with myself, I would probably win the argument that I probably should have organized it that way. But no, that's not how I do business. I am bass backwards. I do what I should have done first last. You know, it's like when you go to dinner. Do you eat the cake first? Do you eat the salad first? Or do you go for the steak? Or whatever your main course is. It's the dessert, it's the steak, and then if there's still room, you hit the salad. I think maybe depends on the approach and depends on priorities. Am I going to talk about how this affects non-electrical persons? Yes, Santiago. Great point. Very good point. Because we don't do all of these things on electrical safety just for the electrical worker. And here's homework for everybody out there. I want you to do this homework. You need to get your 70E, and there's no excuse, because if you go to www.nfpa.org/70E, you can view this document for free, the latest edition and previous editions. I want you to go to Annex K. It's titled General Categories of Electrical Hazards. Read that. It's in this book, it is one page. There's no excuse. You can get it if you don't have your hard copy of 70E, you can get it online for free. It is only one page. It'll take you, well, it depends on how fast you read. It took me probably about it's only one page. So I think you should read through this, and if there's anything you want to read on here, I would read it all, because it talks about general. There's a shock. K2 is shock. K1 is general. K2 is shock. K3 is arc flash. K4 is arc blast, which we're going to talk about that a little bit too. And K5 is other information. And so that's a good a resource for you. I put also some links to previous YouTube editions that I've done, and you can take a look at that. And what else? So that's sort of, and 7:58. I got 2 minutes. A couple minutes. So those are the things that are going on today. I want to see you all at 5:00 p.m. Eastern. And Santiago, keep those questions coming because I want to make sure we address. We do the Q&A and we pick up everybody's questions and concerns. So take a look at all of that. Take a look at 50. If you have 1584, bring your questions to the table. We'll talk about them. If you have questions about equipment, what bus dimensions, what size enclosure sizes do you use, things like that. So I really appreciate all of you tuning in, and I know we're global here too. So we'll talk about different voltages, because I know internationally in different countries there's different voltages, and we can have the discussions. I think would be valid on applying these calculations to other voltages and other currents, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Europe, Japan, Egypt. My buddy Nihad. Hey, there he is. Nihad, there it is. I didn't even see your name, buddy. And there's a 6607, and I can't read that. Where are you from, 6607? The name is I can't read it. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna. Let me know where you're from. I'm curious. 6607, where you're at. We got Santiago, Egypt. Awesome. So we got a few people in Egypt. Nihad is out there. He's out there raising up Ahmed Muhammad. I hope I said that right. Ahmed Muhammad. Excellent. So thanks for joining us, you and Nihad and crew. And we've got Santiago. We've got Michael King, James Smith, I believe Charlie Kago, Windy City, if I'm not mistaken, and Tamaki, Japan. So we're going to talk about some, we'll touch on the equations, the parameters. Can I apply this in different countries, different applications, all that jazz. All right, pop the clutch. We're going to pop the clutch at 5:00 today, Eastern. And I know in Egypt, that's late. So if anybody from Egypt is online at 5:00 p.m., we know they're burning the midnight oil. But in any case, make it happen today, and put your head in the game. I want you to be thinking about arc flash. Bring your questions. Put the comments in on LinkedIn. Put them in on Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook, put them in on YouTube, or send them to me at Thomas, THOMAS, DOMITRO, V as in Victor, ICH, at Eaton, EATON.com. My name is down there. There's an A missing, or you can go to thomasdimitrovich.com and find the about me and click on contact and send me a note there. There's multiple ways to get a hold of me and bring your questions to the table. So I'm looking forward to the discussion tonight, and hopefully you are as well. All right. Well, I think it's time to sign off. It is 8:02. I'm 2 minutes past my due. I've got other things to do. I have a busy day today. I hope you have a busy day today, because if you don't have a busy day today, that means you need to find some things to do. So remember, stay safe. Please stay safe and stay healthy. All that jazz. And until we meet at 5 o'clock p.m. today. So take care. Stay safe. Make a difference today. Today's your day. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Make it feel that way. All right. Take care. Stay safe. God bless. Please stay healthy. We will see y'all at 5 o'clock p.m. Ciao.